Hey everybody, it's Brooke. Welcome back. I was really drawn today to kind of share some of the channeled messages that I've been getting in regards to everything that's been going on. A little earlier, I was sitting there just thinking about my journey and all the things that I've learned and all the things that I've experienced and all the things that I have been able to witness. And just a few months ago, when we were doing the global meditations, I stumbled upon a gentleman that I follow on Facebook, and he had done a video with some other intuitive workers across the globe. In his video, they were talking about, this woman specifically was talking about being able to recognize angels. And this morning, as I'm thinking about what she said, you know, it takes one to know one. Being able to recognize when God is sending an angel into your life, and they're there to help you, to guide you, to give you that information that you're searching for. Anytime you ask for guidance from God and your angels, trust me when I say it's going to come. And sometimes the guidance that you're led to do completely goes against anything that's logical that has been taught. Literally. You know, 19 years ago, I learned a very valuable lesson about how important it was to listen to your intuition. And, you know, I was 19, and I went against everything that God was telling me, like shouting, telling me. I was channeling my future self. And I didn't quite understand that until last week. We don't always understand that the direction that we're being guided, but we're being guided to that direction to meet the divine people that God has put here on this earth for us to meet. Right now we're in the middle of the Great Awakening, and I've talked to a few people about it, and they're like, you know, they say that you're going to be able to connect to past lives and who you were before, and you're going to start remembering who you are. And it's absolutely true. You know, I feel like I was born pretty awoke, pretty connected to God and the angels and the messages. When I was 5 years old, I'd tell my grandmother that I wanted to be an angel when I grew up. And who's to say that that's not what I'm doing? Who's to say that I'm not, you know, God's chosen angel for Jacob and Luke? You know? Who's to say that that's not who I am? Everything that's happened in being their mother, I have always had that mama bear natural instinct, and I can handle whatever life threw at me when it come to myself, but when it come to my children, there was something inside of me that it's, you know, instantly protection. So everything that's been going on with him, and really, like, you know, my son that's sick with Crohn's, and really connecting all the dots and giving him the voice of, you know, this is what I want to do with my body, and this is how I want to treat my body. And given him the tools and the resources to be able to do those things, because as parents, that's what we're here to do. You know, we're here to be their voice when they don't have one. And then as they start developing that voice, we're here to support and guide them. And that's the hardest part, being a parent, because we want to do it the easy way, the way that we feel it should be. But really, being a parent is doing all the hard stuff. It is paving the way and showing them how to go after what it is they need to go after, and guiding and leading them on that journey. Because we are their mentors. We are here to guide and protect them. Having the system that broke my child come after me as a parent, it infuriates me to no end. To no end. I will not stop. I will not lay down. I will not allow them to come after me as a parent. I will not allow them to question what is best. I will not allow them to scare and intimidate my child. I will not allow them to experiment on my children anymore. I want to give my son the tools that God gave all of us, and I want to show him how, when you lean into the direction that God's guiding you to go in, and you're embracing his message, and you're living the life that he wants you to live, blessings will start to fall into place everywhere. And I have never, ever pushed religion down my children's throat. I have never told them that my way is the only right way. I have really taken the approach of understanding that we teach our children not by our words, but by our actions. They are watching everything that we're doing. They are hearing everything that we're saying, and they're seeing if those two things connect. And if your words and your actions are not connecting, that's where things start getting a little wicky-wacky, you know? I've allowed my boys, through my actions and through my testimony, to decide what they wanted to believe in. I have not labeled any anybody to really persuade what they believe in and what they feel is right. I've encouraged them to read the Bible and to make their own decisions about it. You know, my way may not be the right way for them, and I get that, and I see that, and I understand that. And as parents, that's what we're supposed to do, is guide our children. Okay? So stumbling into, and I feel like, you know, some of the most important things in my life I've just kind of fell into, or they fell into my lap. Getting into Reiki, and my whole purpose 10 years ago to become a Reiki Master was to be able to work on my children. I knew that, you know, even 10 years ago, how important healing and creating a positive environment was. Granted, I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm not always positive. My kids go against my wishes, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know? And as a mom, I have to keep that in check too. I mean, I'm not perfect. Trust me, it's been a learning journey for all of us. But I love now that I have lived that life enough that my kids feel comfortable to ask me questions. Where does it say this in the Bible? Where does it say that in the Bible? And tying this all back to Reiki, one of the biggest things is really giving thanks for your food, your water, your home, and thanks for the journey that it took to get those things to you. And as we were sitting down to have dinner, my son asked me, where does it say in the Bible to bless your food? So, off the top of my head, I can't quote verses. It's 11:11. Can't quote verses. But I did remind him of the saying that I keep above our dinner table. Give us this day our daily bread. Matthew 6:11. And I explained to him that, you know, God wants you to be grateful for everything that you have. And when you sit down and you give thanks and bless the food that you're about to eat, you're saying thank you for the nourishment of my body. Thank you for allowing me to be able to have this food, because so many people in this world doesn't. There's so many people in the United States that doesn't. You know, seeing what's happening with the way the school system's going, what about the low-income families? Because they are everywhere. What about those families? How are those children going to eat when they have to pack their food every single day? Are we forgetting that the school has been sending food all this time to those kids in need? You know, what about the parents that have to work and they have no child care, and you know, their kids can only go to school 2 days a week because they're having to stay 6 feet apart? You know, who's going to be there for that 5-year-old? Who's going to be there for that 7-year-old? All of these changes that are going into play, are we thinking about this direct effect that it's having on all the children? You know, food is one of the most expensive things that we have. And if families are already struggling, what's going to happen next? You know, who is going to be able to take care of those children? And everything that's happening with mine, everything that I'm going through with mine, it is showing me such a bigger scale of what's going on with everybody's children. You know, what about the parents that can't get their kids to and from school, and there's only going to be so many children on the school bus? How is this going to work? You know, it's a pretty simple answer for me, and I've spoke to my kids about it. I've spoke to my ex-husband about it. Especially if more vaccines are going to be mandated, the solution will be homeschool. And thank God that we had this opportunity to choose. And now we're not tied down to a building. Now we're not tied down to a location. And with us living so far apart, it's going to help us be parents, be co-parents. Because we can help take the load off each other. Especially if they're not in school, you know? Children love to socialize and they love to play, and all of that's been taken away. They can't even go outside and play on playgrounds in some states, and that kills me. You know, children's joy is being ripped straight away from them. And I don't know, I feel like I'm the only one seeing it this way. Maybe I'm not. Maybe that's why I'm led to make these videos. Maybe that's why I'm led to say the things that I'm saying, to give hope that I'm not the only one that's feeling this way. I am going to pull a couple of my shamanic medicine guide cards. I want to tap into the collective and see what we can do to keep ourselves grounded going through all of this. See what natural tools we could be using as we go through the uncertain waters. I feel like so many things are up in the air, and as they are releasing all this information about the requirements and what's going to be done and how we're going to do it and da-da-da-da-da, I need to stay grounded through this, right? Stay a clear channel to be able to continue to walk and live and do God's work. I love these cards. They are so beautiful. Birth. I have chills all over me. And it is a baby. You know, this is major confirmation for me that I am doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing. I am here to shine the light and to guide my children through this turbulent time. I'm here to give them the tools in their tool belt to set them up for success. I was networking with a precious angel just yesterday and the day before, and she was giving me great ideas to do with the children over the summer, to be able to go get fresh food, and every day let's pick out a recipe to try and make it a fun thing, because we have gotten so lazy as a society. We're so dependent on fast food. Kind of reminds me of the "why did the chicken cross the road" joke, because it was fast food. Or no, the chicken nugget. My kids told me that joke many years ago, and I loved it because it's true. So, you know, be able to use this time to make cooking fun. Look at the gift that we have been giving as a society, to be able to slow down and to make cooking fun again, and to build the heart of the home. And the heart of the home is in the kitchen. It all stems from cooking and being together and eating and socializing and enjoying each other, but also making it fun for our children and introducing new things to them. Okay? This is also a renewal. I mean, a whole new generation is being born right now, and we are able to change the direction that they're going to be going in. I mean, it's beautiful. Next one is the Trickster Challenge card. It looks like the Joker dancing. And for me, when I look at this, the energy is light. The energy is, which way am I going? What direction am I going to be going in? Because so many things are so uncertain right now with what's happening. We have no idea what the next rule is going to be. We have no idea what the next restriction is going to be. We have no idea how it's all going to play out. And we know it's more than just a virus. We know the curtain's being pulled up, and things are being exposed that are not pretty. But that's also going back to the Great Awakening. This is what we are meant to be here doing. And, you know, I was meant to be a guide for my children, and you were meant to be a guide for your children. And then as we go through this complete chaos around the world, we're all connected, and we're leaning on each other for support and guidance and channeled messages of hope or reassurance that we are right where we're meant to be. Which brings me to the next one. The first time I ever looked at this card, I felt the energy was so dark. But then as I started looking at it, you have this person buried under the earth, and they're breathing through a straw. And then you have, this reminds me of New York, Statue of Liberty. I don't know why it reminds me of that, but it does. And you have the city of light right above. It's almost like heaven and hell. And even though so many towers have happened in my life in the last week, and when I say so many towers, I mean one right after the other. And every time one pops up, I'm like, okay, well, here we go. New direction. And sometimes I feel like I'm buried in the dirt. Barely have my head up to be able to keep breathing because of all the chaos that's been going on around me. And I forget that little saying, sometimes you feel like you've been buried, but maybe you were planted to bloom, to rise above what's going on, to overcome the difficulties and the mission that you were here to do on earth. Keep hearing pull one more. Medicine wheel. Because cycles have been completed, things are coming full circle. We're finally seeing the direct cause and the effect of how things have been ran for the last 20, 25 years. Things are finally coming full circle, and we're able to be reborn to do what we're meant to do. I love it. I love it. I hope these messages find you well, and I hope that I'm able to give you a little bit of hope and shine a little bit of light of the battle's already won. We've got this. We've got this. And keep pushing forward. Keep shining the light. Keep the faith of the mustard seed to move that mountain. My intentions are to send healing energy to those that need it, to help to overcome the fear of stepping into walking blindly by faith. I mean, ooh, I have chills all over me. Just to step into that blind faith of knowing that when you do God's work, you are protected, you are guided. You know, we don't have to have a government to tell us right from wrong. We all know. It's a choice on what you do. That's all it is. It's a choice. I hope this finds you well, and I look forward to making another video soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.